I'll take you through a short demo of employee taxes and advanced benefits. Items like employee taxes may require a more complex formula to calculate, and some may revert back to their safe space, Excel. But don't fret, by leveraging models with an SIBP, we can leverage familiar Excel formulas and use assumptions that we create within the system to define regulatory limits. Let's take a look at the example on the screen. So within our budget, we've created a model specific for payroll taxes. Within our finance team, we have modeled out a payroll tax for each one of our employees. So right now we're looking at our employee 101, the payroll tax and how it's being calculated. You can see we've pulled in monthly wages from the employee area. We've calculated accumulated wages as the year progresses. And then we are using our assumptions that we'll take a look at in just a minute to be able to calculate that tax expense for Social Security, Medicare, and so forth. Now, these calculations are leveraging our assumptions that we have created in our IRS and state regulations for 2020 assumption area. So through these fixed assumptions, we can identify specific regulatory limits that we use within those calculations. So for example, our Social Security wage base, the limit in 2020 for IRS regulations is $137,000. We are using the IRS tax rate of 6.2, as well as we know that the max tax taken out per employee is about $8,500, and that's based upon that wage limit. And we've done that for the different type of payroll taxes, so we can start using these assumptions and limits to calculate out our payroll tax by person. So we take a look at our calculation for our Social Security tax expense. When I edit the line, I'm able to see the formula that has been created. And this formula follows a similar to a Excel formula where we're using an if-then statement. And we're using the limits and rates that we have defined in the assumptions on the previous screen. So if we take a look at the formula, we're using an if-then statement to look at that employee's accumulated wages. Have they hit that wage limit? If not, then go ahead and calculate out that tax. If so, then go ahead and utilize that tax rate and limits we've set in those assumptions. So you can see it's really similar to your Excel formulas that you may be using to be able to handle within the tool. And we've done that and created a formula for each one of these different payroll taxes. So you can see for our employee here, they've already hit the limit in January for these particular payroll tax expenses. But if you go to our second employee, they have a bit lower salary, so they hit the limits in February. And that's all rolling up to our total finance payroll tax expense, where we're linking this over to our main budget structure to bring over that particular expense. But of course, you're able to add model lines to the budget on an individual level if you want to track that in your main budget by employee, or at a total level like we're seeing here for a particular finance department. And the other nice part is, since this calculation and model is consistent across different departments or different budgets, you're able to easily come in and export this model as a file, and we can save that and import it into other budgets. So it's a really powerful tool that you're able to create once and utilize over and over again in various models, forecasts, or budgets.